All right, I'm going to call to order the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority meeting for June 5th of 2024. Please read the opening statement.
Both adequate and electronic notice of this meeting pursuant to both the Open Public Meetings Act and Emergency Remote Meeting Protocol advising local finance notice 2020-21 has been given by the Director of Finance, Deputy Executive Director of the Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority on February 8th, 2024 in the following manner. Number one, email and written notice to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post. Number two, posting written notice on the official Evesham EMUA website. Number three, following written notice with the clerks of Evesham and Medford. Written notice was posted at the authority's business address located at 100 Sharp Road, Marlton, New Jersey 08053 on February 8th, 2024. The statement shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Okay. So please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Press, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Here.
Mr. Dross,
Here.
Dr. Hunter, here. Mr. Sweeney, not present. Mr. Schmidt,
Here.
Mr. Tenza, not present. Mr. Waters,
Here. May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the May 1st, 2024 meeting?
Second.
Okay, does anybody have any comments, questions, additions or deletions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross, Dr. Hunter, aye. Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Public comments, seeing no one from the public here, I'm going to close public comments. Rate hearing, resolution 2024-60, approving the adjustments to the water and sewer connection fee schedule. Can I have a motion? We're going to do the rate hearing first, or? Okay, so don't vote on the event. Okay, sorry about that.
Thing, I apologize for its length, but we'll get through it quick. This public hearing is being conducted pursuant to the EMUA statute. Notice has been given to the Burlington County Times, Courier Post on May 10th, published on the authority website on May 7th, posted to public bulletin board at both authority headquarters 100 Sharp Road and municipal building 84 Peckerton Road on May 7th, and served upon the clerks of townships of Beecham and Medford all on May 7th. All 20 days or more prior to this hearing. Basically, we're going to call a witness. We're going to get testimony in, and if there's anybody in the public who shows up, they'll answer or ask questions. So, I guess our first witness is Laura. So Laura, state your position with the Evesham MUA.
Director of Finance, Deputy Executive Director.
And did you do a study to determine the average daily water usage for single family residents in the service area of the EMUA?
Yes, I did.
And what study period did you use?
2023.
And what study area did you use?
The study area included all single family dwellings within our service area.
Was the study area comprised only of single family residents?
Yes, sir.
And how much water was used in the study area during the study period?
650,467,000 gallons.
And how many days were in the study period?
365.
And how many single family homes were in the study area?
9,550.
And based on your calculations, what's the average daily water usage during the study period for single family residents served by the authority?
187 gallons per day.
Did you determine the total number of gallons of water billed to all customers in the same study period?
Yes, I did.
And how many gallons of water were billed to all customers in the study period?
1,213,000. 1,213,712,000 gallons.
And how much water was used in the system on average gallon per day basis during the same study period?
3,325,238 gallons per day over the entire year.
Using the 187 gallons per day per equivalent dwelling unit or EDU, how many EDUs are there in the system based upon statutory limit?
17,819.
And did you have an opportunity to calculate the capital base of the authority in the water system?
Yes, I did. I calculated the capital base of the authority's water system to be $51,636,988.
And did you calculate the water connection fee per residential unit, dividing the capital base by the number of service units?
Yes, the water connection fee came to $2,898 per equivalent dwelling unit.
And did you calculate the water connection fee for non-residential users?
Yes, I divided the residential water connection fee by the average number of gallons per day per residential unit and arrived at a water connection fee of $15.53 per gallon per day.
Is there a minimum water connection fee for non-residential users?
Yes, the minimum water connection fee for non-residential users equals the connection fee that is charged to residential users. Mathematically, the rate per gallon is the same for both residential and non-residential users. Not all residential users will reach the average residential usage, but they pay a connection fee as though they had. And to be fair and consistent, we charge a non-residential customer a minimum connection fee as though they had reached the average residential usage.
Thank you. Assuming each should have a hotel and motel, is there a special water connection fee for hotels or motels?
Yes, the connection fee for hotels and motels is a function of the number of rooms plus the amenities offered in the hotel or motel. The connection fee is calculated by multiplying the number of guest rooms by the rate per guest room, which is 1/2 of the residential rate. However, in the office space, convention or meeting rooms, restaurants, laundries that are on premises are calculated separately at the non-residential rate per gallon of estimated usage.
And is there a special water connection fee for residential and non-residential users outside municipal boundaries of each township?
The water connection fee for residential is $4,347 per unit. Non-residential is $23.30 per gallon per day, and the minimum connection fee per unit of $4,347. The rationale of a different fee for out-of-town connections involve investment risk and equity. In-town customers bear more of the investment risks of owning and operating a water sewer utility and more of the burden of financing and facilitating its operations. In return, owners of the system pay lower rates to compensate for the additional responsibility not shared by out-of-town customers.
Okay, thank you. Now, turning to the sewer system, did you calculate the capital base of the authority in the sewer system?
Yes, I did. Calculated the capital base of the authority's sewer system to be $137,033,213.
And did you calculate the sewer connection fee per service unit by dividing the capital base by the number of service units?
Yes, the sewer connection fee came to $7,693 per equivalent dwelling unit.
And did you calculate the sewer connection fee for non-residential users?
Yes, I used the same procedure as I did for the water connection fees and arrived at a sewer connection fee of $41.23 per gallon per day for non-residential users.
Is there a minimum sewer connection fee?
Yes, based on the same rationale that was used for water connection fees, the minimum non-residential sewer connection fee is equal to the connection fee that is charged to residential users.
Assuming once again, that if Evesham had a hotel and motel, is there a special sewer connection fee for hotels and motels?
Yes, again, using the same rationale that was used for water, the sewer connection fee is half of the residential rate per room with other facilities charged separately.
Is there a special sewer connection fee for residential and non-residential users outside municipal boundaries of the township?
Yes, based on the same rationale that was used for water connection fees outside the boundaries of Evesham Township, the sewer connection fee for residential is $11,540 per unit. Non-residential is $61.85 per gallon per day, and a minimum connection fee per unit of $11,540.
And did you calculate the proposed irrigation or lawn sprinkler connection fee?
Yes,
Did you calculate the irrigation? How did you calculate the irrigation lawn sprinkler connection fee?
I compared the proposed water connection fee per gallon against the present water connection fee per gallon and found an increase of 8.6%, and then multiplied the proposed percentage increase by the present irrigation for lawn sprinkler connection fees to arrive at the proposed connection fees.
Based on your calculations, what are the proposed irrigation and lawn sprinkler connection fees?
The proposed fee for a service connection of 1 inch or less is $4,903. The proposed fee for 1.5 inch service connection is $8,482, and for a 2 inch service connection, $12,785. The proposed fee for a 3 inch service connection is $25,560, and for a 4 inch service connection, $44,136.
Thank you. I have no further questions. This concludes the authority's presentation. Are there any members of the public who wish to ask the witness any questions? Let the record reflect. No need. Keep forward. Seeing no one wishing to speak and ask any further questions, are there any members of the public who wish to make a statement? And no one, let the record reflect that. Seeing no one wishing to make any further statements, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend the public portion of the rate hearing be closed.
Close the public portion of the rate hearing. Any commissioners have any questions for Laura? Okay, seeing none, and I will take can I get a motion for resolution 2024-60, approving adjustments to the water and sewer connection fee rate schedule.
So, second.
Any questions before we vote? Please call the roll, please.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross, Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Okay, resolution 2024-61, payment of bills. Can I have a motion, please?
So, second.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
I'm going to vote yes, but abstain on purchase order number 24-01950 for Florio Perucci, as I have an indirect conflict of interest. Resolution 2024-62, refunds, credits, and cancellations. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Does anyone have any questions on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-63, adoption of FY25 water and sewer budget. Can I have a motion, please?
So, second.
Laura?
The Department of Community Affairs approved our budget for fiscal year 25, so this resolution will not form.
Does anyone have any questions for Laura? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-64, award of contract in excess of $6,600 to United Electric Supply Company Incorporated in the amount of $9,825 to replace 2 VFDs, variable frequency drives, at King Strand plant. Can I have a motion?
So, second.
Jimmy?
Yes, this is replacing the aging VFDs at the Queensland plant and get that efficiency.
Does anybody have any questions for Jim? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-65, award of contract in excess of $6,600 to Complete Control Services in the amount of $15,833 to convert pump number 1 motor starter to a VFD at Church Road interconnection. I have a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Jim?
Yes, this is to make it more efficient there, better pumping capabilities, you can bring the pump speed up, down, and to benefit the energy source.
Anyone have any questions for Jim? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross, Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-66, approval of patch management plan for FY 25. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Thank you.
So the board adopts a cash management plan on an annual basis, and this plan details how the authority will manage all cash assets and all required balances. And debt service payments have been updated for the fiscal year 25. What is new this year to the cash management plan is the addition of the joint insurance funds banking best practices. And it's included as exhibit A. And there's also language in the cash management plan certifying that we will comply with those practices. And our policy through the cyber JIT requires compliance with all the banking best practices listed on the exhibit, as well as being adopted annually by the board, and the authority is in complete compliance with all of those banking best practices.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Laura? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-68, award of contract in excess of $6,600 to Excelsior Blower Systems Incorporated in the amount of $11,323.05 to replace the blower on the surge tank at Woodstream wastewater treatment plant. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Jim?
Yes, this was like probably a 15-year-old blower that failed and repaired about $8,000. Another five that goes out.
Okay, so if we repaired it, or will we
It's got $8,000.
no, but how long do you think would it last? Do you think it will last?
Give you a year.
Give it a year and then.
Yeah, a year, that's about it, so it'd be good, fail anytime.
Okay, so we're actually benefiting from.
What's the surge tank? It's where Woodstream plant where the raw sewage comes in and it goes into the tank, so it can be dispersed out through the plant, keep.
It's like an equalization tank.
Keep it level down.
It surges, brings and surges in and kind of distributes the plants throughout the day.
Makes sense.
And the blower is the oxygen to everything. They create oxygen, so without oxygen, our systems fail.
Any other questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dross,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-69, awarding of authorizing award of contract through Sourcewell National Cooperative Purchasing Program to Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $575,000 to lease 10 motor vehicles, 8 pickups, 2 SUVs for 4 additional years of the current lease. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Jim? Laura?
We entered into the contract with Sourcewell 2 years ago. It took them a year to get the 10 vehicles that we currently have to. So we obtained those vehicles last year. The original award was only for the first year of the lease because we weren't sure how the contract would work. Now that we have the 10 vehicles, we would like to stay with that lease for 4 additional years, and this contract is authorized.
And there was existing vehicles.
Yes, we've had them for about, probably not even a year yet.
Okay.
At the end of the lease, we turned them over,
Yeah,
is there payoff?
and we're supposed to receive some type of sales credit to lease more vehicles, and I think it's supposed to be like kind of a rotating.
So the first thing is we're entering into this lease, we have an exit grant at any time. It's not working for us, we can say, we're done, we're folding our cards, we're out of the game. But the reality is that Enterprise is going to manage our fleet, and they're looking currently what the market is generating. So some of the vehicles we have now, brand new, we might have them a year, and they might say, hey, we can get a good dollar amount for that current vehicle lease, and we'll trade that in, get another vehicle, and we can add the plus of the revenue intake into the next batch of vehicles we got and continue to move it forward. If you remember, this started way back in 2020 with the shared service agreement with the township, 2021, COVID, all that came. We started to implement it The prediction is in the 10-year program, there's about $640,000 cost savings to the authority. As long as the market continues to trend the way it's been. I mean, obviously it dips down, that's when we might be able to use our exit grant and say, we can buy our own vehicles. But the outlook is, you know, we can have these vehicles for 5 years, the whole lease term to get another one. We can end up having it 6, 7 months, and someone wants that vehicle, they'll pay top dollar for it. Ideally, in some cases, the way it's pitched to us is we can actually own the vehicle for a year, year and a half too, and end up paying nothing for it. It's really, it's a little bit market dependent, but I think we're safe for right now. And Chris is actually spearheading that project. Do you have anything you want to add, Chris? Or?
No, not really. I mean, just maybe to add a detail to that, part of how that works is because we get particular government pricing on the vehicles and then they sell them different, you know, contexts. So that adds to that savings. So if they're monitoring the actual, you know, where the value of that vehicle is spiking, they manage that. So it takes a little bit of the, you know, labor of maintaining the vehicles off of us and a little bit of administrative. But I think it's worth it.
Any other questions? You know, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-70, authorizing award of contract with Sourcewell National Cooperative Purchasing Program to Enterprise Fleet Management Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $185,000 to lease 4 motor vehicles, 4 SUVs for a 5-year term. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
Okay. Laura?
So this would be, for 4 vehicles, we currently are not under contract. It would be for a 5-year term. And, it would replace 4 of our older, fleet vehicles that are in the fleet already, and we would take them and trade them.
Anybody have any questions for Laura?
Administratively, why do we separate these into 2 resolutions?
One resolution was passed, it started past, 2022, Laura?
Yes.
Yeah, we had first lease.
Well, it's 10 vehicles, this
Like, we can't add on to the.
Yes, we didn't have authorization for the entire 5-year lease for the 10 years. So that was the first resolution, and then this is for 4 new vehicles.
All right, thank you.
So it'll be a total of 14.
Right.
Right, and this one specifically for a 5-year term, we're not gonna have to re-up it, and we have all the same offerings.
Yes.
Correct.
Good, fine.
Yeah, I have a question. For this amount of money and term and number of units of vehicles, it comes to an average of $770 a month per vehicle. And that, so does that include maintenance on it also?
Yes.
Okay, that's what, otherwise I'd say it's cheaper to buy it.
Yeah, it's also has utility parts and that.
Aftermarket parts and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay.
I think, so the original ones that we leased, we have 4 years left on that, right?
Yeah.
Is that an additional 5? And so they would come due first, and then a year later, these new vehicles would correct?
Correct, this is a 5-year,
5.
for these particular vehicles, these 4 would be for the next 5 years. The 10 we already have will have a 4-year duration left. It actually starts when we procure the vehicle.
Right.
Anyone else have any other questions? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Dr. Hunter. Aye. Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-71, authorizing award of contract through Sourcewell National Cooperative Purchasing Program to Trinex Incorporated in the amount of $104,410 to purchase predictive modeling software solution for lead inventory. Can I have a- What's that? Oh, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Chris?
So, this is, one of the foundational deliverables of the new-ish lead rule, the lead bill, is to build our lead inventory of all we have to verify the service line material of every single customer connection that we have. So about 18,000. So, that, we have a 10-year window to do that, which ends in 2031, and we've been making pretty good organic progress with that. We have just over 40% verified, and that's through a combination of looking through our old records, surveys from the public, and then just a byproduct of our own work that we're doing. I think we're making really good progress. We've been chipping away at this inventory headed towards 2031. And on the way, we've been adding into the budget, tools for when we get towards the end, if we need help to get to like, 100% when we get, close to the end. We've been budgeting for things to plan for that. But just last year, there was a federal change to the federal lead laws that are basically saying by October 2024, for public notification only, they're considering all not yet verified lines to be lead. All that means is that in October 2024, federal guidelines say we have to send a certified letter containing X amount of details in each letter to any unknown service line. Well, we have upwards of 10,000 unknown service lines. This has effectively made our due date October 2024 for the lead inventory. Because it's not enough, we want me to say, okay, where do we have lead? But we need to know specifically the material of each customer connection. So like I said, that effectively pushed the actual due date for the inventory up to October 2024. So one of those tools we've been budgeting for the end of the road, kind of had to move up. It was already in the budget, but it's basically a predictive modeling software. It uses machine learning to tell you, use the results you do have to tell you the likelihood of what the material is at each connection. Now the key here is not necessarily what it will tell us, it's that in the inventory, you need to source each individual verification. And machine learning is just an accepted source, just like maps are, or customer surveys, or physical work we're doing out there. So in order to, not have to, sending 10,000 certified letters with, individualized language in there is that's kind of unmanageable for us. So we just need to move our lead inventory due date up to October 2024, and that's what we seek to do with this. It's just bring one of our tools up and purchase this machine learning software.
So just so you know, this October 24 deadline, this is fairly new this year. It's we were working, chipping away, like Chris said, very diligently. We still are to this day. Since this new guideline came up, Chris and I have met and we remapped how we're going to do it. Jimmy has crews out there effectively handing and verifying things. Like Chris said, we have roughly 10,000 unknowns. A lot of that's on cooperation from the public. We're not getting a lot of public cooperation. So this Trinex will do that predictive modeling for us. How I don't, and the federal guidelines accept that predicting rather than an actual physical beyond me. But Chris did his homework. They're going to fill in the gaps where we can't get to. And with his steps, we should be able to hopefully make the October 24 deadline. The state deadline, no problem. The federal put this thing on us really just I think in March.
So if the federal government accepts this modeling, I know we have more time to truly go out and verify for the state, but will the state accept it as well?
Yeah, so it gets a little wonky. The state absolutely accepts machine learning verification. Reading into the language of the federal guidelines, there's enough space there that they actually could not accept it, but that's for the verification itself. We're just trying to really not send 10,000 letters out in October. So for those purposes, the federal will definitely accept that. When 2031 comes around, we'll see how they treat machine learning for the verifications itself versus for public application reasons. I expect it's almost certain they must accept it. There's no way a lot of people can verify these things without it, but like a lot of these regulations, they kind of leave enough wiggle room that I can't say like, yes, they have said we will certainly 100% accept this. That seems somewhat by design. the state itself has said we accept machine learning up to like a certain, because we get a likelihood for each line, and we say like, above 87%, I believe. Now it will be helpful with the with all that said, if we do this, it will, give us our lead inventory early, so it is, kind of killing two birds with one stone. It's like we're doing this just for 2024, it's just kind of doing it faster than we would have anyway. And it kind of is cool how it works, that we'll have lines that are lower likelihood, and they'll give us kind of target where we would go dig up. We dig things up, feed it back into the system, they'll spit out a new likelihood. It's kind of a back and forth relationship.
So the state's really wonky with this, we were in some stakeholder meetings back in March. And they're making suggestions that all your unknowns, like Chris has said, 10,000, you have to buy them inverted filters until you find out with their 6-month supply of filters. And the certified letters, it's not just once, it's every month. And updates every 4 months. It's just really, really crazy guidelines they're trying to force them. Why they're trying to do it, I don't know. Thankfully, our authorities in a position that we can absorb some of that shock, but there's other communities out there we're never going to be able to physically afford that with what they're trying to do here. I think it's a great thing to remove the lead, but I think some of the regulatory requirements behind it really holding people to the candle for fires.
Yeah. So I understand the learning models, I work with one of them with the software package, but I don't understand feeding that model based on just sampling a house in a neighborhood. I don't know how that granularity could actually produce something in any degree of accuracy. I'm lost on that.
In a way, I kind of agree. I think we have a lot of institutional, again, this is kind of all about the fact that we can source it to an accepted source of machine learning. We have a lot of institutional knowledge. Jeff, we have a lot of employees, we can drive out to a neighborhood and they can say, I know for a fact that this is not lead in here.
Yeah.
But unless we can say, here's the source, right? And this is actually what the material is, they're not going to accept that. So I kind of agree, although I do think some of these models, they advertise using like 7,000 different metrics. They use geographical data, they use like economic data. All of these go into like what the likelihood of lead at particular connections. So to us, we think date and stuff and contractor, certain things like that. There's like a whole world past that, and I kind of agree. It doesn't, but not only, do they advertise this, but the state needs to accept it.
I appreciate that.
I mean, it doesn't sound feasible for a model to say, yeah, this doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But there was one thing that me and Chris went round and round about, and I forget what it was, I apologize, but there was a certain tool that we can use, the state within the sector. I'm like, they won't accept physical, but they're gonna accept this machine saying, this is our model. Well, it just didn't make sense to me, so I agree with you, but
Take an example.
the state feds will allow it.
Would be like, let's say we have a street with 10 houses on it, and we've dug up 6 houses, or 3 houses.
Okay.
We can totally look at that and say, the likelihood of the other, 3 houses are gonna be lead is very low. But now I go into the inventory and they say, okay, how do we know? And I gotta click because my own logic, right? But if I can click, the machine told me.
Cumulative.
Yeah, exactly. But if I click the machine told me, that's acceptable, so.
I appreciate
Aim to say that that's.
the impact is of sending 10,000 letters to people that are gonna be like,
Well, we know right now, like we'll say,
that have to.
folks in Village Green.
Yeah.
That development was started in 1998. There's no lead in there,
Yeah.
but we still have to put that on there as being inventory. Now, if we have folks in there that we have an inventory by modeling or physically, we have to send them a certified letter that says you're considered to be lead. But everyone, lead's been eradicated since '86. So it's safe to say anything built from '87 on has 0 lead in it.
And often those gooseneck service lines were put in from anywhere from 1 to 30 years earlier, right?
Correct.
Depending, and Okay, so I'm still lost on this, but I do appreciate the gravity of having an acceptable government solution against the regulatory requirement. So that you don't have the impact of scaring 9,998 out of 10,000 people. The two people that might have lead, I get it. I just don't see how this is the way to go.
Doesn't make sense, but it's acceptable. It helps us out enormously.
I mean, there's one, I mean, Jeff brings up, and I think this is, we go back and forth on this, but Jeff says, you know, we. Doesn't, participate as much, and I kind of feel like, as someone who never has ever filled out a survey on Facebook, help me to, or. I think like our level of participation is pretty decent, maybe I'm just extra cynical, but there's a ceiling to how much the public is gonna fill out surveys for us and take pictures of them, right? So even in like the best case scenario, everyone, you know, a bunch of people participated, unprecedented amount of people participated. We have, you know, 20% left, and that's not many people, you know, for us to say. Now, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's a tough thing. I mean, even the October deadline, not to get too into the weeds about it, but they've just recently come out and said that, see, October is just when those changes take effect. They haven't said the letters have to go out in October, but they haven't released a date yet for that. So we have to right now assume that that date starts in October, because the bill is effective in October, but they may or may not between now and then say, okay, the bill takes effect in October, but the effective date of the certified letters is sometime before 5.
So it's an unfair mandate.
I mean, they're all nice.
All right, and it's $100,000.
But it's not like if we move that date back, this is useless, you still get the verification that we're driving towards 30, so 2031.
Does the vendor guarantee the state and the federal government will accept?
There are state, I have like written state guidelines, not like machine learning is accepted. The federal guidelines, like I said, it's a little more unclear, but I don't see how they.
Okay, just a couple of questions. I'm sorry, but this is are any other communities that you know of doing this? Because it seems like 560 communities need to do this in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, well, different communities have different challenges. So you were talking earlier about Newark and what was it? Yeah, so
They
had a lot, right? They used another company called 120 Water. It does a similar thing, but they take more of towards managing the inventory approach. They send testing, sample bottles out to customers. They send the surveys themselves. So I have talked to 1 or 2 places that use this company. I know a bunch use machine learning for it. They're all doing the same thing. It's just to meet that regulatory, we can source this. But yeah, everybody's challenges are kind of different. There are people, you know, I know towns that have taken a whole different approach and have said, we're gonna just say you don't have lead until we're told otherwise, and maybe that'll work.
So we're 90 some odd days out, 120 days out.
From October.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
So there's no time left to look for anything and implement it and have it ready.
so that's part of why. Now, this is a company I've been back and forth with for a while, so this happenstance, by chance, but they're on this cooperative purchasing program. I don't think we would have had time, we had to bid this out in particular.
Yeah.
I do like this company compared to the competitors I looked at, so that's.
Is there any other benefits besides the lead?
Yeah, so it comes as a package deal, I kind of wanted to a la carte get the bill. Don't do that so much. They will manage the inventory, so it'll take some administrative, tasks as far as managing the lead inventory itself off of us. That's an added benefit. But it's a 2-year deal. It'll add there's some bells and whistles. We'll get some good, this is information we'll have forever, right? So.
All right, so let me ask some questions, so, because I'm going to be dragging this out, but this is one of the first times I'm ever going to suggest this, right? I suggest it gets tabled until we can look further into it in this month. And I assume that you probably did a lot of due diligence, but I just don't see how this makes sense. I know you have to do something.
I think that's a bad idea, only because we gotta get moving on this.
I was gonna say, we're up against an October deadline. We don't really have time
The
to-
product that we're being offered and sold here is guaranteed that the state and feds will accept their,
But not better.
it's the same thing, it's they're looking for the inventory.
Yeah, the federal's nebulous.
A more nebulous than the state, I would feel confident that they will accept it.
So-
Just their language isn't as definitive about it.
So I would rather go to the state or in the feds if they said, we didn't really agree to this, and we can point out their gray areas and fight back and forth. But in the meantime, we just didn't ignore it.
Yeah,
We worked through
Yeah.
it, we got the products and materials that we need, and we're still doing human digging and inspection ourselves. This is just our umbrella, so to speak, to get it done. We're not gonna stop. We have a very effective plan for the town now mapped out. But it's a lot. It's a very lot for us to do to make that October deadline. That deadline wasn't until, everything had to be done in 2031. But we had mandates all along the way to give them updates and tell them where we're at. This just gives us an opportunity to say, okay, they're not gonna say you failed. No, we use the tools that we think that are acceptable according to your rules and regs. Yeah, they may be gray, but nothing stands out and says, no, it's not.
is this cloud-based?
Yeah.
And how long is it gonna take to implement?
So I think if we didn't approve it here, we wouldn't meet October. Like I said, between now and October, they can push that due date for the letters back, but at this moment. As far as we're concerned, in October, we will have to send those certified letters to the.
I would vote no, except for the timeline. I would vote yes, but otherwise I would vote no, because the timeline seems like we have to gamble with $100,000 just to. Because it's the best way we can meet the.
And this price includes their support in arguing anything with the federal government.
I don't know that.
In the sense that they're confident, they've researched, they're the one, they send me like, the language from the state that they're using to back up their selling, So they have their own people that go to, well, I guess lobbying for lack of a better term, they're very confident. We do this nationwide in a practical sense, and in your state, you have clients, and we have confirmation that they accept this or that.
I don't think it could be any worse than some towns say, we're gonna assume there's no lead. I mean, that's just a relative term, that if some towns are, just to meet the deadline, are gonna say we have no lead and do whatever they're doing on the side. I mean, ultimately, this kind of calculation or machine learning, that whatever they have in their algorithms is gonna be accepted.
And just to kind of give, if I'm understanding, usually what happens in machine learning, you have training and testing data. So what I'm suspecting is that, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that you already, the reason why they're able to run it is because they have training data, a bunch of data that's been previously collected. And what's gonna happen, we're basically, because we're adding new data to their database, it's like a test.
Absolutely.
A test sample. So that's how they're able to run. They're looking at what they collected previously from other states and what have you, and they collect different variables that may contribute to the detection of lead. And then, and then we add our criteria or our information, and then we, basically predict. And also, it's not 100%, it's all probability. So it's not like, okay, this is definite lead, it's a certain percent chance that it's lead.
So what if it's a certain percentage chance that this neighborhood has some lead in it? You send letters, if there's any chance at all?
No, so if the machine telling us there's a chance, doesn't require us to send letters. It's just if we met like some regulatory, if we took a sample and it failed. If there was a high chance or below the threshold we're trying to reach chance, they become part of the pickup areas for us. Or we'll go to those neighborhoods and try to get them to do surveys more focused than right now, just, scattering.
But the requirements and the letters out.
That just comes from when we hit October and if the line isn't.
If it's.
So whatever the machine already tells us won't trigger it.
Wayne, is anybody doing anything in your other townships you're working?
The only other town I have with a water system is South Brunswick, and they're up against the same thing. They're not as proactive as you're being here tonight. I don't know, I didn't know that this October deadline has been initiated this year. And I don't know that they know. They'll know tomorrow.
Can I interject a second?
Yeah.
Mara has to leave. You guys don't mind, so. Thank you, Laura.
I would say that even, let's say that we run into a problem with the federal government. At least we've shown some due diligence that we've made an attempt, and I think we have to appeal that decision. We've got some data. It's not like we just sat there and said we didn't do anything, or we got bound up in minutia on this. I think we should I think we should move forward on this.
Sorry.
I want to be clear on what the price, like what is covered under, is it just the system, or do we, what
Yeah,
is
so
included
there's a
in?
2-year, there's like an implementation cost of just like uploading our data.
Yeah.
And then it's a 2-year agreement. I think it's somewhere between 20 and 35 per year. I'm trying to remember what it was. It might be a 3-year agreement. I put this on. But there's an implementation cost and then just a yearly, which is a positive thing for us, because as far as we're concerned, when that is over, we now have the information we need. I will say there is no practical benefit, let's just say, and I guess I have to say, number one, I think we run into this with regulatory stuff more than we think we do. I mean, there's a reason I wanted to kind of like lay the whole thing out, and it does shed a light on like some of these regulatory challenges, how they aren't always based in a practical area, and we are spending money to just meet regulatory things that aren't attached to the practical side of it. I think this happens more than we think we are, where we're paying money to meet regulatory things only. There's that, but then the second part of it is, even if, and I think this is a big possibility, July comes around, August comes around, and everyone's so up in arms about this October deadline that they just move it back. They just throw it back 2 years.
Yeah.
There's a tendency, and this happens to us a lot because we are proactive. Sometimes it's like moving the goes unpunished. You try to be proactive, but because no one else was, they do kind of acquiesce and they say, we'll move it back 2 years, and then we kind of feel like we got the short end of the stick because we were kind of punished for. This kind of isn't one of those situations because we will get the actual verifications. It will take work away from us up to 20.
Okay.
Oh, so basically, because we have the system, we save our labor costs, pretty much.
Yeah, yes.
So we'll have a body of work that's done that we need to do anyway.
It's just work we were doing internally, chipping away at to 2031 that we were basically contracting it now. But we are accomplishing that.
But if through the predictive model, it tells you you've got a high chance of having lead in this neighborhood, this house, or what have you, we'll make a concerted effort either to dig or go to the homeowner and ask for assistance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it kind of narrows down the playing field, so then we get that data, continuously input it into the model, and it spews out more data.
Absolutely.
So it's really gonna rubber stamp the
Oh,
thousands of
that's-
homes that we're certain could not have had lead gooseneck lines.
Correct.
At an acceptable level.
Did you, go ahead. No, thank you for all the comments. I kind of look at this maybe a little differently, like, all right, so our budget here at HM for the EMUA, 17, 18, $19 million, for $1 million here or there. You're talking about something that's less than 1% of our budget. Like, how much time we've already spent, how much manpower have we already spent here trying to conform and comply, and now we're being told we gotta meet an October deadline. So I kind of look at this and say, just say we didn't have this and just say we didn't do any work up to this date. But you had to basically go to 10,000 users basically. How much time do you spend per user just to send a letter, follow up? I mean, are you gonna spend 10 minutes? You're gonna spend a half hour.
It's a lot of
administrative time is within $104,000.
Yeah.
Overall.
We just came to the same conclusion.
I mean, so to me, it's like, and I think everything that we've discussed is right on point. But I kind of look at it from an expense standpoint. I think we should do it. I mean, I wholeheartedly support this.
Yeah.
As long as you vetted it out. I mean, I wouldn't like.
Oh, that's vetted it out.
You didn't go, there's not three other similar companies who offer a product that say, you know what, from a predictive modeling standpoint, here's what we have done. And for other authorities, other townships, so here's some of the work we've done here. But I'm not disputing run at the ground, Chris. But that's the only thing I'm struggling with here is
There's the
that
gold standard.
it's a lot of money we're gonna approve, if we approve. And that's the part I'm struggling with, but I think there's a validity to do this. And so I'm supportive of it, but I said it with a caveat.
Yeah, versus the cost of what it is now.
Right.
Yeah, just to let you know, Chris has vetted this, we went round and round, we've met with other contractors, he mentioned one of them, 120 Water. There's been multiple ones, some of them offered packages that are just beyond what we need, so it wasn't worth that cost value. Other ones didn't kind of get what we want, this is the point on what we want, our whole goal this year to make the 2031 deadline. This just popped up on us, so our goal was all along, is we're gonna go out, we're gonna dig up, we're gonna dig a percentage. Even the regulations don't tell us what percent we need to dig up, it just says we need to verify. So Chris and I went round and round, this is a 10%, it's a 20%, it's a 30%. And I've always told Chris, and he'll tell you this, I said, this is how we're gonna do it, figure out what the percent was in the end, and if the state or the EPA says that wasn't enough. My argument's gonna be back was, well, what's enough? It's not in your regulations, it doesn't tell me what's enough. We are working towards what we are trying to do best to our best practice. So the goal is, we want to get this inventory as fast as we can, as Mr. Kipnis said, they're gonna do a very likelihood, there's lead here, we're gonna dig it up, we're gonna verify it, and we're gonna know what our inventory is at that point. We dig it up right there, we're gonna change that connection service out that gooseneck wire there. But when we do the lead testing in the homes, and we get that verification through customer participation, we're gonna then say, okay, we have 10 homes that are verified lead, or then we can determine the cost factor. Are we going to do it ourselves? We're going to place it in house because the states is pulling around with, you got to replace from the main all the way to inside the house to the meter. That concerns me because now we're going to be putting holes in people's walls. So they're not really sure. It's every conversation with stakeholders meeting is so cattywampus and gray. But the important thing is, all we want to do is get our numbers and figure out what we have to do and what it's going to cost the authority. And then if there's too many that we have to replace, do we contract it out? Because that becomes a cost benefit analysis, contract it out and have someone just come in and do it. But I personally, I don't believe we have any more than 50. If that, I think how many have we inventory already, Chris? You know, I think we have less than 10 out of thousands of homes we've checked. And that's really based on the Old Town section. I mean, you guys have lived here a long time, thinking the geographic was went up since '86.
I do have one more thing, not to cover my own case here, but kind of a response to you, Mike, when you talk about the cost of the next, however many years. The unfortunate part is, I suspect there are a lot of towns that are thinking like, because this happens a lot too, 2031 is a long time away. If none of us have a solution by 2028, 2029, they may take the foot off the gas, or they may ease up on these rules and people may benefit. It's dangerous game to play, obviously, and we don't play that game. But that, again, not to hurt my case, but that kind of worry. They say, oh, never mind, because no one can do it, or no one has the will,
And, I mean, if this goes well, this could be the best practice that we adopt here. Moving forward, there could be something down the road, 2028, that no one has any idea yet. Sure. And so we would have to respond to, we already have a case, we'll have a case study or, this is what we did to respond to these regulatory bodies. This is how we engaged our ratepayers, our stakeholders here.
One thing you guys forgot I had mentioned is the state is tinkering around with making you require one with a specific Brita. So if you want to buy stock, buying Brita, specific Brita with 6 months supply of filters until you either justify it, replace it, or take it up. So not only, that's an addition from the EPA's federal rules, the state is thinking around that. And Jim will tell you, I actually posed a question to stakeholders meeting, and one guy says, yeah, and the other guy says, no. And I was like, well, what's the answer? And it's like, we'll get back to you. And it's been crickets. It's like, hey, don't. It's kind of weird. I should invite you guys to them and sit in some of them regulatory update stakeholders meetings and just watch the regulatory stuff going back and forth. It just, you kind of shake your head at being in the business for 30+ years. It doesn't make sense.
I'm surprised they said Brita and not zero water.
Oh, no, I'm kidding about that. 100%, it's Brita, it's in the rule.
Okay, so expected.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, they ended out of their game.
Maybe.
People.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so the state wants to do that, they just haven't put a date on it yet.
They might be on a state contract too.
I looked at it, so you take 10,000, just go to Home Depot, they were like $22 a piece, and that wasn't even supplying filters. So you add that to 10,000, 250 grand.
All right, any final thoughts? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Dr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-72, award of contract in excess of $6,600 to Edmunds GovTech in the amount of $8,500 for the implementation and a 3-year software subscription to Utility Viewpoint Dashboard. Can I have a motion, please? Second?
Second.
Jeff?
Viewpoint is a powerful tool within Edmunds which allows us to see data in real time and easily generate reports. We currently use the Finance Viewpoint module, which we just finished implementing for the April finance reports. Edmunds now has rolled out the Viewpoint dashboard for utility billing, which will allow users to see all the data related to our customers' accounts in real time, including balances, payments, bills, work orders, etc. Viewpoint will also assist with the financial reports in regards to our cash receipts analysis, as well as gallons billed, historical data, and more. The contract award includes additional implementation as well as a 3-year software subscription. So this is kind of like Laura said, financials last month was a lot more user friendly with software.
Yeah,
and stuff. This is just in addition to that.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Jeff? None, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Dross.
Aye.
Dr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Resolution 2024-73, authorizing advertisement for bids for emergency maintenance, repairs, and modifications of infrastructure facilities. Can I have a motion, please?
So.
Jim?
Yes, this is for our emergency work, after hours, weekends, holidays. We already exercised our 10-year extension, so putting it out to bid now.
Okay.
How many contractors you think you're gonna get a bid?
That's all we have, like, five.
Yeah, we had three or five last time.
Okay, good.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis.
Aye.
Mr. Dross. Dr. Hunter.
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt.
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Executive Director's Report, Jeff?
I'm happy to report that there were no violations for the month. We did have one water main break. And we also had discolored water complaint, and we also had odor in the water. For the discolored water, we took samples and we replaced aerators in our faucets. Water was good at that time. It was an issue with their aerators. The odor in the water, our technician took samples and smell could not be replicated, and the chlorine residual was right in line with regulatory. We got our J Montgomery JIP loss control report, and we had a really great report. This is just a note to the fund commissioner that they wrote for us. The survey revealed excellent management commitment to safety. Evesham Municipal Utilities Authority regularly updates its compliance documentation and reviews its right to know files annually. Evesham MUA continues to take advantage of the wide variety of NJUA JIP resources available to members and has begun to conduct its internal CDL training for themselves and other JIP members. The MUA continues to do an exemplary job of maintaining its facilities, which is emphasized by its lack of outstanding suggestions for improvements. The MUA continues to train employees in various health and safety topics and uses MSI resources for employee training. No report goes without some kind of finding. So what they did find is some discoloration on some of our signs and asked us to replace the signs so that they're more vibrant. But other than that, was outstanding rating was reported. We also, the consumer confidence reports that went out, and folks should have received them, and they're out on posted on my website as well. And by the end of the month, everything will be hand delivered to schools, dialysis centers, senior homes, and things such as that are multi-people dwellings. The authority just last week, we supplied the township with water for Relay for Life for all the participants there. We also participated in Martin Day, which was a pretty good turnout, including Chris. Thank you, Chris and George, for going there representing the MUA. This coming Monday, we're hosting a mini seminar for people in our industry at the Gibson House. I'd like to thank Monica Vandenberg. She offered up the Gibson House once again, so we'll have about 50, 60 attendees there. Heritage update, we're waiting to go over that. We're pretty well along. They're actually had a schedule. But they're due for completion for August 25th, 2024. July 4th is coming up. There may be some questions or comments about the conditions of the roads, but they are navigable. Maybe we could put some signs up and like tell people to drive carefully. And maybe we can even get some paving done. We'll see. Talking about J.A. Montgomery, Brendan Hurst was the liaison safety security guy under Frank. J.A. Montgomery cherry picked Brendan Hurst from us. So Brendan Hurst, he'll be leaving us to go work for J.A. Montgomery. So Brendan he's been a great asset for us for the last few years. He did an excellent job in safety. So good that J.A. Montgomery offered him a position there. And we've already replaced him with another internal candidate who also has all the training for CDL for all the other JIP members. May 20th, we had a family come in, Stephanie and Charlotte Geppetto. She was a young girl, very attentive to everything we do. She had a question. Her mom, who is a teacher here in town, said, "Where does my poop go?" Which generated a question to the mom. The mom reached out to me and she said, "I'd like to, if we could come in and see you guys." And it was a very great experience for about 2 hours. She wrote a very nice letter to the Carrier Post, the Marlton Sun, a few other newspapers. She just sent me yesterday afternoon the letter she sent. I will disperse that to you folks tomorrow, so you can see a picture with us. And that prompted me to think of things into the future as to maybe once a year hold an open house in some good weather. If residents want to come out and hear about what we do, and it's a little open house, some small impressions like that. We can do that once a year because we really don't want to get into business of taking individual tours to our facilities. But the little girl was fascinated and she was very captivated for a young 4-year-old. Very, very smart and intelligent. It also led us into another thing that Chris Vandenberg and myself met Stephanie, the mom, here on Tuesday. We're going to create a video tour of our facility. And something Chris has been thinking about for a long time, actually, in Jeff Rollins. And Jeff Rollins wanted to make it more characteristic with like Disney type characters, which ballooned the cost. So out of the world that we didn't do that. But we want to do something similar. Chris is going to, spearhead that. And she wants to work with us to make it kid friendly. So, very good resource she wants to be for us. And pro bono. She's a teacher here in town, and she just wants the opportunity to be able to teach people. So that's a pretty good thing that happened there for us. Last thing I got is tomorrow, we will begin shut-offs. I'll give you a little backstory on the shut-offs. Shut-offs begin tomorrow, June 6, 2024. Back in 2020, the governor declared state of emergency stemming from the corona pandemic, issuing a moratorium on any collection attempts or late interest assessments or past due accounts. The authority adopted the resolution 2020.67 on April 15, 2020, providing financial relief for our ratepayer. The authority also adopted resolution 2020-100, extending financial accommodations, waiving interest payments for 3 months through 9/30/2021, which ended up going all the way through 2031-21 due to executive orders that the governor was enacted along the way. There were many more executive orders, too many to list, but in the end, all the executive orders and moratoriums have been lifted or ended on December 31st, 2021. Because we don't shut off during winter months, we started to send friendly reminders to our late ratepayers, which did recoup some of our revenue deficiencies. This leads us to where we are now. Since coming out of the winter program, non-shutoffs, we feel that it's time to once again start to start this very effective program. Before you ask, yes, we sent out friendly reminders to all those who are still late and deficient. And at the point to now, we sent out letters advising them that impending shutoffs will commence on June 6th. Shutoffs work for us. Yeah. If the shutoffs do not work, and we don't recoup any money, what will happen to the residents? Their homes are going to leave. Not because of us, that's just a state statute. So we're hoping that the shutoffs will start to recoup the money. In fact, I think when we sent out the final notices that we don't start shutting off in June, we recoup 30% of our losses already. So they do work, and we're well prepared with our staff tomorrow. Just want to let you guys know that if you have any questions.
I got two. When we do the video, we're gonna do like a small one for like YouTube that, maybe we can put out there so that people.
Yeah.
Not like a big, I'm not saying like an hour long, but maybe like a small, here's your MUA. That'd be the goal.
Yeah, this is video. It's not going to happen by year's end. It's going to take some time for us to get the idea together. Obviously, we all have multiple tasks going on right here, but we're hoping sometime next year that we'll get together with the ideas. We met with Stephanie, like I said, on Tuesday. We came up with some great ideas. There was going to be a cost, that comes along with this. We have to figure that out. We'll likely hire someone with the drone to kind of go through ours and do a narrative of everything that's going on. And then that'll be for, the YouTube adult version type thing, and then we'll work with Stephanie for the kid friendly version of it.
I think it's a great idea to get out there, so I don't think people
Yeah.
completely, they only know what we do when their water doesn't come out of the closet. And then we raise the rates.
And I've looked at many of these YouTube videos that like tour plant. I mean, there's not like a ton of them, but there's some, so I could learn about how a plant operates. Great idea. It has to be promoted though, otherwise you're not gonna get that many viewers or likes. It has to be promoted.
We have a video on YouTube, very brief, but it's like how fire hydrant works. We have maybe 2 videos on YouTube. We don't promote or anything.
Yeah.
We put that together maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I looked at it the other day. It has like 20,000 views. I don't know if it's the only video like it, but it must fall. into
Byron
people.
watches it every day for free.
You're supposed to be quiet about
Can you do that to 25 comments from Byron?
various students.
So it's a little skewed.
The ones under Byron Ross.
For the big day.
I'm sorry, Byron.
That was good.
I know it won't help from a revenue perspective, but I would hope we consider putting something about conserving water.
That's in the bill. That's in every bill that they conserve water, and that's on the calendar.
But the video, I think it's.
No, in the video.
187
Oh,
gallons.
especially the ones
Yeah.
to the school age kids.
Obnoxiously high. That's it. I mean, think about it. A family of 4 using 187 gallons per day. It's a lot.
But we're gonna talk about the wipes, because kids are very, they absorb everything. We're gonna make it short, 3 to 5 minutes, because after 5 minutes, kids lose their attention. We did some homework about this.
Okay.
We're gonna look about fats, oils, and grease. You know,
Yeah.
with a small character that's like, oh, don't put this down there, that's where Stephanie, she's an artist and she's gonna, you know, hopefully we can come up with something good, you know, that's kid friendly and also basically what the MUA is.
That's great. That's great.
That's
And if it's too much content, you could always have one, 2-minute clips on one, fog, one on white, there's no such thing as a flushable wave.
No,
And, we could have a.
Do that one too, but
Yeah, there's no such thing.
there is a flushable.
There's no-
They are, yes, they're absolutely.
They say, but they really.
I know chemistry, Byron, they're flushable.
all right.
It's possibly.
What I like to see, what I like, yeah, I know. What I'd like to see too is maybe we can put like that on like a letterhead or something put out to drive people to the YouTube channel to look at that, or maybe have a pop-up on our website or pop-up in our Facebook page or.
We definitely, mileage out, let's see if we have some.
Yeah, once we get our feet in the water, which like I said, it was probably, late this year, maybe next year, then we can update you along the way, like what we're doing, how it's going.
It's good.
That's all that I had.
The only other thing was the shut-offs. Do we let people know, I mean, do we try to work with them as well, like payment plans and stuff like that?
Yeah, so, with our new program and the, for the, admins, we can see real time. Like, so if a resident says, I'm gonna make a payment, I'm sorry, I forgot, no problem, make the payment, we can see it. In the past, we've had folks say, yeah, we're gonna pay, I'll be there tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and I'll be there the next day comes. And we have to go out there and shut them off again. It's a very effective way. It doesn't seem like it's all that nice, but it's an effective way.
But if somebody comes to us and says, I don't have the money right now, can I go on a payment plan and pay us $100 a month or whatever?
Yeah, as long as they start to make some payments, yeah.
That makes me help.
Something's better.
The only thing that's out of our hands is liens,
Is what?
are the liens.
The liens, yeah.
Because if you owe $2,000 and 1,500 of it is from 2023 or prior.
Yeah.
It's out of our hands, it's gone, so we
By
very
state
much,
law, we have
we very much speak to customers and say, we certainly can accept a $50 payment and we'll make sure your water's not being shut off. But we cannot control what the township is requiring for us to do we'll go into the meeting. So we're very clear to customers, we try to be as positive and helpful as we can. But they're more fearful of having their water shut off than having the lien on their property.
And just for the township state, that's a state statute, it's not.
I was gonna say, if it's a state, we're doing a statute, that's what we can.
Yeah, so if they don't pay us, we're not gonna be the problem, we're gonna be legal on the problem.
Is there any safety, security issues that we're going out there shutting water off?
No, we've done this for this, the only time we stopped it was when the pandemic and the governor mandated not to do it.
We do it.
We've done it every year.
Right.
We do it every year, we do it every quarter.
But if so if you're a rate payer, you're gonna be shut down, you're shut off, you're not making payments. And you're looking outside your window, you see an MUA truck pulling at the street. That's not that.
So you're saying, you're thinking security that way.
Yeah.
I can say we've never had any issues, knock on wood, as long as I've been in the street, we've been yelled at and all that other stuff, but generally, our folks, they're calm and collected, and they just, hey, listen, make a phone call, make an arrangement with them, that's good. They understand that, Christine's the meeting person, not the employee out there in debt. Christine's the one that wants the money, the guy, we're looking at our employees as, they're just doing their job. Some of them have been angry, but we've never had any security or anything like that, any issues.
I mean, our guys are, they aware that, hey, you could encounter somebody.
Yeah, they have.
Very agitated.
Yeah, they have a protocol, what to say, what to do.
Yeah, we had a meeting the other day.
Okay.
What's going on, most of them are new or haven't done it. So we inform them that, just drive away if anything should go
Are they
wrong.
by themselves, are they solo or?
By themselves. Breakers in the week.
Yeah, we've done this since the inception of the MUA, all the way up from the moratorium.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing it out there as.
Most people, when I've done it before, and what happens, as soon as you pull up, most of them are, like I say, frequent flyers, and when you pull up, I'm gonna call and make a payment, so you kind of sit out front,
Right.
and then
The office.
We'll actually say, can you give the film to the
Yeah.
technician?
So the office
So
will
that
call,
they, I could say, okay, this is Chris, I marked their account, leave their water on, we
And
want
they
to the
drive
next
away.
person, so.
Yeah, they will offer payment to
Civil
the
as possible.
technician, we say, no, just, we're gonna leave you on, just make sure you get there tomorrow.
right, so they call the office and the office will let us know that just you go away. And it's usually taken care of.
We'll see it real
Or
time.
you shut it off.
Mhm.
Maybe we should put them together too, if you don't pay your bills, it's 3 times.
Be on the front cover.
I would tell you, during the pandemic, our numbers were, 7 figures. Now we're just, 500,000 in arrears, so, the messaging since we, with Chris and our team sending out, you're late, it has worked. And as just recently, we're starting our shut-offs come June, and the uptick has come in. So it is effective.
Any other questions for Jack? Engineers report, Wayne?
Yes. South side of the water tank, nothing new there. Route 70 water main is going very well. That water main has basically been drilled the length of the project site. So we haven't had any complaints from the business owners. There's still some connections to be made, but I'm very pleased with the way that contract went so far. Route 70 sewer main, still grappling with one section there and not getting a good response on the potential for pipe bursting out there. So we'll keep following up. Elmwood Storage Building contractor started work yesterday, I believe. And they will continue and we'll keep on them on that. Well, number 6, I met this morning with Schulte's. They're having some difficulties testing the well with the new piping arrangement. We batted around some ideas. I'll be working on that in our office and with your staff, and we'll get that resolved. Elmwood UV disinfection is ready to go out to bid.
Okay, can I have a motion for resolution 2024-67, authorize advertisement for Elmwood wastewater treatment plant UV disinfection system?
So moved. Second.
Wayne, did you have anything to add to that?
No,
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? And then call the roll, please.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Drossy,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye.
Heritage Village Phase 3, our problem child. This contractor is basically finished with the water main work. He's now on to the road restorations, part of paving curb to curb, includes bringing ADA ramps up to the current code, replacing failed curbs and things of that nature. He's going around doing that work throughout the development now. He hopes to start paving in a couple of weeks. So we'll have some roads that will have nice new paving and ADA ramps and water main. He's going to start on the roads that do not affect the school. So Caldwell will be one of the last streets done. The school doesn't get out, I think, until the 17th of June. So he won't touch that until he's sure that he doesn't have to interrupt the school transportation.
Wayne, I didn't say it during the approval of the bills, but this particular project was over 50% of your total billing for the month. I guess you're throwing resources on it, or you're doing drawings, or because it was a big chunk of the bill.
We have had to be out there quite often. Well, we have to be out there every day, but I get drawn into it and our construction manager gets drawn into it. With all of these unmarked services that were hit, the complaints that come in from residents, they all have to be managed.
Yeah.
We'll stick to our budget no matter what, but we only put the time in that we absolutely need to.
So you have to, where you have mismarks, you have to revise drawings and
Create change orders. We're not necessarily revising drawings, but basically, monitoring the contract. We know there's gonna be change order. We have to keep track of his time, equipment and materials, so we know he's billing you correctly. So that it's all gonna be tracked every day.
Yeah, there was a pretty big blow up. I sent a copy of it to Jeff on one of the social media sites.
Link's aware.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond,
I am
we can
aware.
talk about.
Yeah, and then,
I'm sure.
yeah, and, you know, you run into this. Whenever you're working in people's neighborhoods, you might as well be working in. Sometimes you're gonna have people with legitimate concerns. And sometimes you're gonna have some people who aren't being very rational, but you have to treat them the same way. Because, especially with social media,
Yeah.
that's where they go first. And, you know, this particular person wasn't rational from the get-go, from when he called Jim.
Oh, he lit me on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was, I mean, the tone of what was posted was much different than what I'd seen before, and even the woman that came out here.
Yeah, well, she
wasn't
has
nasty.
legitimate concern.
Right, but she wasn't that nasty, but-
Right.
No, this guy was just, I mean, he
Yeah.
hung up. So I had, I know I went out to go talk to him. He comes right out the front step of the camera. So I didn't want to engage him and that, but, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was on social media, I waited. He did that story.
okay.
So,
Thank you.
but, in order to get us out of Heritage Village once and for all, we've discovered one road that wasn't in this plan or any of the other phases. We're looking at adding that road. And we have a crossing, of Main Street, by, Walden, and the funeral home there, which we'd like to finish up also. So we're gonna be adding some fairly big numbers to the contract. And we're talking, to Kelly about that when she gets back from her trip. We'll be going over the legal aspects of it because we're going to go over 20% if we have these. We want to make sure that we're doing that legitimately, so instead of going out and rebidding the job. But the goal is here to basically reduce your customers' encounters with the construction. We're there now, let's finish it up and get out of it. So that we can discuss at next month's meeting when I have the legal advice and give you the change order to look at, but it would be a big one if it comes through. Our other water main construction project, Cardinal Court, Sweet Gum, Cottonwood, same contractor. We're going to have a pre-construction meeting next week, and we'll all lay down the law to them and tell them what we expect and, you know, what we're gonna do differently to make sure, you know, it all goes smoothly. Knock on wood, this should be an easier project because it's a much newer development, where as-built were actually as-built and not pre-construction drawings. And we shouldn't have so many surprises coming up.
You need eyesight. I live there. If you need eyes.
Okay. You're welcome anytime. You'll try not to block your driveway or.
I'm not telling you where.
I and then Sinelli Farms lift station, electrical design's just finishing up, and once it is, we'll meet with your staff and go over the improvements and make sure that we're all on the right same page before asking for permission to bid.
All right, we have a resolution 2024-74 authorized for advertisement for Elmwood and Wood Stream wastewater treatment plant SCADA upgrades. Can I have a motion, please?
Second.
This project is similar to the one that was conducted last year or the year before for King's Grant. Your SCADA system has been in place for a long time. Technology moves pretty quickly, and it's overdue to be upgraded. And we've worked with Allied Controls, who initially installed the SCADA systems, and
had the contract to install the King's Grant upgrades. So we're pretty sure that the specs are now in condition to go out to bid on this.
Anyone have any questions for Wayne? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dress,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Motion approved S3W3 for Edith James Hair Salon, 740 Route 70 West in East Shannon Plaza. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Yeah, it's just another hair salon, over by, Johnny Longshots and Advanced Auto Parts there on Route 7 in Rockwell.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? We don't need a hair. We don't need.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
Not at all. It's,
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dress, Dr. Hunter,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Waters.
Aye. Motion approved S3W3 for Solid Core, 300 Route 73, Unit 115, T-Mobile converting into 2 stores, Marlton Square Shopping Center. Have a motion, please. Second?
Second.
and this will be a Pilates studio in what was, or was part of T-Mobile.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Seeing none, call the roll, please.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dress,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Motion approved S3W3 for Dry Bar Hair Salon, 300 Route 73, Unit 125 in the Marlton Square Shopping Center. Have a motion, please.
So, second.
Wayne?
Yeah, this is over, well, used to be a part of, Victoria's Secrets in Marlton Square.
Oh,
Just now, hair salon. We have a run of them. There's another one coming up next month, I think. Definitely looking good in the morning.
Incredible donuts.
I don't know.
You have to vote on it still.
Which one?
Yeah.
I thought we did order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, we would.
Five up now. You, yeah,
Yes, that was one of the first ones you did.
yeah, 57, okay, so.
Byron, you, motioned it.
You got them on the date.
I motion
now, I didn't
check it out.
You're two.
And they both have to do a virus. She keeps us going. She keeps us going. You're part of the same account.
Seeing no more additional questions, please call the roll.
Mr. Kipnis,
Aye.
Mr. Dress,
Aye.
Dr. Hunter,
Aye.
Mr. Schmidt,
Aye.
Mr. Waters.
Aye. Any final questions for the engineer? No. We have the council's report. When I came in, I thought maybe Kelly was off the bat and had to shave her head, but then. So. Nothing at this time. Okay, public comment, seeing no one from the public here, I'm going to close public comment, board comments, Lee, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Good meeting. I think it was a great exchange to everybody. Wayne, thank you very much for your explanation there for Heritage. Thank you for the continued good work of the team, Chris, on this lead stuff. Keep it up. Appreciate it. And thank you. Have a good start to your summer.
Byron?
Yeah, Laura, great job on, the connection fee analysis. Chris on the lead, tricky business. Chris on the really comical way to keep the. It's great. Just a reminder, tomorrow's anniversary of D-Day. And everyone, please have a happy 4th of July.
Crystal?
Okay, well, once again, thanks to all the staff professionals and managers. Great job, Laura, great job on the, rate, justification, great job on no violations this month. And once again, as always, it's always a pleasure to work with the other commissioners. And once again, happy 4th of July.
Mike?
So I agree with that, it's been said, and want to thank our employees. Looking for the work.
All right, and I want to thank, again, as Jeff had brought up, I went to Marlton Day. I saw Chris and Jordan. Thank you for spending your day out there promoting the MUA and making sure the residents' questions were answered. Thanks again to our professionals and to our management staff, all of our employees. Welcome, Tom. You're welcome here anytime. And you want to join us, and thank you again, Chris. Chris keeps me honest. Apparently now she's out there firing. Make sure I have everything I need for these meetings, so I appreciate that, and everybody else on staff. Our next meeting will be on Wednesday, July 10th at 7 p.m. here. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Your turn.